There we go.
You wore a T-shirt?
I did.
Really? You wore a T-shirt?
I did. They said look nice, and look what happens.
At least, I think it's your best one.
It's probably, I'll tell you, it's top quality. There's no team logo on it, so that helps it.
I am driving from here to Scranton to speak tonight, so we had to go this route today. All right, we'll get in 1 second. We'll get to schedules, but Jack Swarbrick is stepping down as the athletic director at Notre Dame. Pete Bavacqua from NBC is going to take his job. He will join the university on July 1 as special assistant to the president of athletics. And Swarbrick will stay on and help him for a little bit. But Bavacqua is a Notre Dame grad. He's been the chairman of NBC Sports since 2020. He's served as the president of the broadcasting network, and before he spent 6 years as the CEO of the PGA of America. Okay? So, what does this mean moving forward? Well, number one, do you get a deal with his former employer, NBC? Do you look at it in a different way? We'll see. But it is a significant note. And by the way, Swarbrick was one of the 4 individuals, along with Craig Thompson, the former Mountain West commissioner, Greg Sankey of the SEC, and Bob Bowlesby, formerly of the Big 12, that put together this 12-team playoff idea. They were the 4 that advanced it. But that was the news that came out about Notre Dame today. Now let's get to Flex Protect. Okay.
It almost sounds like car insurance or something.
I know.
Just
The ACC has a 3-5-5 model. Okay. They've made it simple. You have 3 protected rivals. Then you rotate 5 over a 4-year period. Okay? That way in 4 years you play everybody. Wow, that does make sense, doesn't it? Then there's this model. You can request to protect up to 3 rivals. Something tells me that there will be some schools that protected none. There will be some schools that protected 1. And maybe 1 or 2 protected 2. So let's go to the easy ones. Obviously, Michigan and Ohio State will be a protect.
correct. Yeah.
USC and UCLA will be a protect. Indiana, Purdue will be a protect. I think Nebraska, Iowa will be a protect, as will Michigan, as will Minnesota, Wisconsin, and maybe Maryland, Rutgers. Maybe. I'm sure Michigan State would love to protect Michigan. The question is, did Michigan want to protect them? That I don't know.
That's a good question.
Right? But you will end up playing through this. The good part, every school will make an appearance in your stadium at least once in 4 years. You will appear in everybody else's stadium at least once in 4 years. Right? And again, that's at least once. And if you have a schedule that has no protects on it, there'll be more of a rotating group as to how you do it, but you'll play everybody. You will not have divisions. I'm going to see how this goes with the no divisions. Everybody's called for it. I understand the concept of it. Mm-hmm. It gives you the 2 best teams record-wise when it's done playing in the championship game. We all know the East has won every game in the East-West format. Totally understand it. My question is going to be, after 4 years, when they sit down, do you keep it that way, which they very well could, or, and this goes back to the question I have asked several of my colleagues in the league, because I said, let me ask you something. Is finishing 6th good? And every time I've asked that question, I've had each one of them step back and say, wow, that's a really great question. And from an athletic director's point of view, is finishing 5th or 6th good? Right now, finishing 5th or 6th means that in your division, you might be 3rd, 2nd. So you feel like you're closer to something. Finishing 5th or 6th, you don't feel like you're close to something.
That's a good point.
So after 4 years of 1 through 16, is finishing 5th or 6th good? Now, in basketball, you don't have to ask that question. Basketball has a 60-18 tournament. The Big Ten gets as many as 8 schools. Usually, this year it was 8 into the NCAAs. Right. And on top of that, with USC and UCLA coming in, they could get as many as 10 into the NCAAs. So finishing 6th in basketball is good. That brings with it no issue, you're in the big dance. Finishing 6th in football, what does that mean? What does that mean for the coach? What does that mean for security? What does that mean for how the fan base feels about it? Hey, great, we finished 6th, we finished 7th. Okay. It's going to be an interesting dynamic to see because the dynamic between football and basketball is completely different. Today, you will not get dates. You will only get opponents. You'll get the 24 and 25 opponents. Now, I'm guessing, but my guess is Penn State will get 5 opponents next year at home, and then 4 and 25. That's a guess because that's been the pattern with them. And then it'll be interesting to see how it plays out with USC and UCLA. I've had so many people talk about and the travel. Football's once a week. So here's the sequencing you want to make sure you avoid. You don't want a team playing on the road at pick whatever Big Ten school, and then the next week have to play at USC or UCLA. That's the sequencing you want to stay away where you have back-to-back road games where the second game, back-to-back road games where one of the 2 games is in Los Angeles. Because now you got to go out, you come back, then you really got out, or you go way out, then you come back, then you go back out again. I think you want to avoid that if you can. But it's more difficult on the travel component to take care of basketball, volleyball, softball, baseball, gymnastics. Men's and women's soccer, because you play multiple games a week. So that's where the travel part comes in. You're playing multiple games a week. How do you do it? Football, it's 1 game a week. And you can play back-to-back road games in the conference if it's separated, with Los Angeles being one of the 2. If maybe it's separated by a bye week. Okay? Mm-hmm. So we won't get the sequencing today. The sequencing will not be there. It's going to be just who you're playing. So and it'll be 9 opponents, 1 through 16. It's flex protect. We'll find out who protected whom and how many were protected by each school. You're allowed to protect up to 3. But there could be a team or 2 that protected nobody and said, hey, look, just tell us who we're playing. Okay. So in all likelihood, that's what it's going to be. It'll be 4:30 this afternoon. Right. And I'll give you one. I don't think Penn State will not be playing, for example, USC and UCLA in the same year.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But there'll be, over the next 4 years, at least 1 game in the Coliseum. In the next 4 years, there'll be at least 1 game in the Rose Bowl. And at least one time, doesn't mean it's just going to be once. At least one time USC will come here, and at least one time UCLA will come here. I mean, under Flex Protect and the rotating system of it, if you're not protecting anybody, they're only protecting one. I mean, you could actually come here. Somebody could come here a couple times. I mean, that can happen. Now, And then, now that's not going to happen in this schedule release. I mean, that's not going to happen in this schedule release. You're going to, it'll be, you're not going to have anybody on there you're playing in back-to-back home games against. That never happens anyway. Well, I shouldn't say that. That's actually happened before. I feel Penn State played at Ohio State.
I was going to say 2012, 2013, or 2011, 2012, somewhere around there, yep.
It was 2010, 2011.
Yep, that's what it was. Yeah, I knew it was close there.
But in all fairness, Illinois did too. They came here.
Yep.
And in fact, I think Illinois has played the last 3 games in the series here against Penn State because of that additional game that was thrown in there in 2020 at the end of the year.
Yeah, because the last time they played at Illinois was that Friday night game.
Yeah.
Yep. Yes, it was.
That's the other part, too. You want to avoid Friday nights. Yeah. And then we'll see what they will. But again, that part we don't know yet. That's for a different day. This is just who you're playing.
Yeah.
No dates yet. Now, when the dates will be, maybe they'll reveal that later today. But at least you'll know the opponents. James was asked about it today. And he says, that's above my pay grade. He said, that's a bad question.
Absolutely right.
I mean, you as the head football coach, and maybe in a conversation where nothing's going on. I mean, look, they go out to Big Ten meetings, and James expressed his opinion out there. He's expressed his opinion to Pat. Now whatever decision comes up, it comes up. He's trying to win today. He's trying to win tomorrow. He's trying to get to training camp. He's trying to get through training camp. He's trying to beat West Virginia. Okay? Whatever's on the 24 schedule, he'll deal with that when 24 comes up. All right? So that's not his he's already expressed an opinion about what he'd like to see. Okay, done. Now let's see what everybody came up with. And we'll all find out together about 4:30 this afternoon. I know you've already bought all these plane tickets to Los Angeles over the next 4 years, and I know how you operate.
Oh yeah, not like the guy in 1992 who borrowed Peter King's phone and made the non-refundable trip to Pittsburgh to cover the Houston Oilers. I don't go that far.
My old Little League first base buddy.
Yep, borrowed his phone. I remember that story. So went over to him, said, "Mind if I use your phone? I'm so-and-so from Houston." Yeah, go ahead. Made a non-refundable trip to Pittsburgh when they were up 35-3.
Yeah.
Which at that point, probably 90% of us were saying, yeah, it's probably a good move.
Yeah.
Beat the traffic. Well, he beat the traffic, that's for sure. There were nobody else from Houston going to Pittsburgh that weekend.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Peter King and I grew up at the same time.
Yep.
So, same Little League team, the whole deal. Yeah. So we'll see what they want to do with it. You'd like to see dates put with it so you can see the sequencing of it. But that's probably they'll probably sit down with the networks and say, hey, like, even though you can't schedule every game for TV right away, are there certain dates that you would prefer that we play some of the bigger opponents? I mean, USC did not come in. USC is not coming into the Big Ten and not playing Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State at some point.
Right.
I'm sorry. The TV networks.
Yeah, I was going to say TV networks might have something to say about that.
They're not going to say anything about that. I still maintain that USC and UCLA can help out the November.
Sure.
Night game. Issue.
Yeah. Yes.
Right, which everybody has. You can get 3 of the 5 games at night in Los Angeles, with one of them being USC and UCLA. That's one. Then you can have UCLA host a game and USC host a game, which would be 4:30 Pacific time. Okay? Now you just have to come up with 2 games in the Midwest that you'd have to play at night.
Yep.
Okay? And go from there.
Yeah, and that's
Including the Black Friday game.
Right.
Including the Black Friday. So you really only have to schedule one Saturday. If they were to do that, you'd only have to schedule one Saturday night game in the Midwest and one Friday night game. Just a thought.
Yeah. No, it's very good thought.
Just a thought. Yeah. If you have any concerns about, for example, it could be, let's just pick one. It's a Saturday night. We'll take this year's dates. November 11th, Ohio State plays at USC, or Ohio State plays at UCLA. Okay. And then on maybe the 18th of November, Iowa plays at UCLA. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I doubt that would happen because Iowa would end up playing the Black Friday game
right.
at CBS. Yeah. But I just picked them. Wisconsin plays at UCLA.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, well, that's okay. And USC plays USC. Well, that's 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
That's 3 out of the 5.
Yep.
Right? Where you're at least playing in warmer weather.
Yeah. Warmer weather, West Coast time out there, too, which is going to help them. Yeah. So, yeah, absolutely.
Right. And it's, and if you're a central time zone team,
mm-hmm.
The game would kick off at 5:30 for you. Yeah. 5:30 out there, 7:30, a 6:30 Central Time. Be a 6:30 Central Time game, kick off at 4:30 out there. So 6:30 Central Time game, it's not as bad.
Sure.
Yeah. So there are ways to make it work if they're smart about it. But again, they want to go toward, I always love this, the Big Ten. Dun, dun, dun. Those two key words that tells you, like, okay, how are you going to do this now? Competitive balance. Why does Penn State play Iowa almost every year? Because, now last year was the one year they didn't. Well, why do they play them almost every year? Because that's the competitive balance schedule. Why does Ohio State play Wisconsin almost every year? Competitive balance. Right? It's without saying it's your crossover game. They don't say it's your crossover game like Alabama, Tennessee, and the SEC. They don't say it's your crossover game. But in the reality, it is your crossover game in the divisions. So let's see what competitive balance means to the 24 and 25 schedules with USC and UCLA added in. Let's see what competitive balance means. That's where my trust starts to wane.
There's no doubt about that.
I know they put a lot of research into it, so it's not like I'm not going.
Well, I give them that, but
I'm not going to doubt the research. But again, I've been a major proponent for years. I don't mind if you're playing one team more often than not from the other. Now, this isn't going to be divisions,
right?
But more often than not, that doesn't bother me. What always bothered me was, Nebraska's on this year, right? So. Quote, they're going back there next year. No, they're not? Oh, they're not going back for like 3 years? Oh. Minnesota's like, you're playing back-to-back? No. What? There was no rhyme or reason as to how it was done. The idea of playing everybody in the conference on a 4-year cycle, I think is tremendous. Tremendous, where you're going to get at least one game at their place and they're going to be at your place at least once. That's a conference. Mm-hmm. The SEC, I keep coming back to this one. Texas A&M has been in the conference since 2011. Georgia has never played a game at Kyle Field. They've been in the conference for a dozen years. And by the way, the vote to go to 9 was not close. Okay? The vote to go to 8 was 9-5. The 5 were Georgia, Florida, LSU, Missouri, and Texas A&M. Those are the 5 that voted for 9 games. Texas and Oklahoma are in favor of 9 games. Guess what? If they had a vote, they still would have lost.
Yep.
Would have been 9-7 instead of 9-5.
Yeah.
So David Ubben, good writer, covered the SEC meetings, and he pulled aside a few of the athletic directors, and he brought up the flex protect or the 3-6-6 model. He said every athletic director he talked to was like, okay. They just do what they want. Okay. I don't mind. You want to go 8-9, doesn't matter to me. I just am a big believer if you're in a conference, you should be playing everybody.
Yeah.
At some point. At some point.
Absolutely.
And
in a shorter turnaround. In a short turnaround, meaning within 5 years.
Right.
Yeah.
And Texas A&M and Georgia are in the SEC, and for Georgia to never play a game there, come on. Right? You want to talk about disrespect to the fans of College Station? That's total disrespect. Oh, no, we can't do that. We can't do that. They're in the conference. Now, they play against each other in all the other sports, including basketball. Yeah. But you have more opportunities to play in basketball. I think, though, the SEC is still playing 18 conference games. Because Penn State played Texas A&M. I think they're only playing 18. Big Ten's playing 20. ACC's playing 20. And I think when they get to the basketball one, just my guess is it'll be 5 home and aways and 10 one plays. Keep it at 20. That way you still have the flexibility to do your own non-conference schedule up to 11 games, including an exempt tournament. And these tournaments are all exempt tournaments.
Yeah, of course.
Where you're telling, hey, you're going to play 3 games. Great. It's like, okay. 2 additional ones are like gift games. It's like everybody's playing 31 games. I mean, who's not playing 31 games? I mean, give me a break. Just say everybody can play 31 games, and however you get there, it's up to you.
There you go.
I mean, come on. Well, you can play 29 and oh, jeez. Really? And there are going to be a couple schools that are not protecting anybody.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I don't care.
No, and you're still going to get the games that matter the most in terms of the conference. You're going to have, not necessarily the games that are going to matter the most, but the rivalries. They're protected. I think you're going to have, as you said, Ohio State and Michigan will play each other. That's not going away.
Well, that'll be a protected game.
That'll be a protected game. USC, UCLA will be a protected game. Mm-hmm. You're going to see those games. Yeah, maybe the chance Michigan protects 2 and they keep Michigan State. There's 2 there. I think there's a chance for, in all likelihood, the rivalry games are going to stay for the most part.
Yeah.
And
Purdue, Indiana will be protected. Sure. Illinois, Northwestern will be protected. Yeah. I think Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, Nebraska. Right. They'll all be. That's you're allowed to protect up to 3. Those will all be on the protected list. Yeah. I'm not so sure Penn State has any. I don't know. We'll see.
That's going to be interesting. I don't know. That's if they are, I think it might be 1.
I'm a little concerned about our management, by the way.
Uh-oh.
Well, no, they want us to do the show outside today. Why? I worry about it.
Speaking of outside, those listening...
215, by the way, is the number right now. Air quality index is 215.
Man, oh, man.
The Spikes last night canceled their game. But when they did, the AQI was, I think it was 156 at the time. And they felt it had a chance to go up. Now, the Pennsylvania Summer Special Olympics opening ceremony was supposed to be at Field, Lebrano Park. It will now be at Pagula.
Actually, will not be.
No?
Yeah, the Summer Special Olympics have been canceled due to the air quality.
Even the opening ceremony?
Let me double check.
Maybe the
this,
competition has been, but what about?
Yeah, I think the competition has definitely been due to the air quality. I think they are going to have.
I think they're going to have the opening ceremony at Pagula.
At Pagula.
Just looking it up here.
Yeah, just double checking that. Just making sure we're not telling everybody the wrong thing.
Oh, good. Mold's low. That's good. That's great. Dust and dander very high. Tree pollen high. Great. Don't have the answer yet?
Not just yet.
Come on, get yourself together.
My phone is moving terribly slow. All right. Let's see what we're doing here.
Belmont Park called off racing today.
Wow.
Jeez.
Special Olympics has canceled the 2023 Summer Games because of air quality concerns. The organization announced on Thursday.
They canceled the games, period?
Has canceled Summer Games because of quality concerns. The organization announced the event for nearly 2,000 athletes was scheduled Thursday through Saturday.
Wow.
As the press released. Yeah.
Wow. How about that? Jeez.
Yeah, unfortunately, everybody
That's
out
terrible.
there, it's just absolutely,
they made the right decision, but
I agree, 100%.
Wow.
But yeah, just
how about that?
Scheduled to be in Thursday and run into the weekend due to air concerns has been canceled. Yep.
Wow.
Thought I was just wanted to double check. Thought we were right, but just wanted to make sure. Don't want to do everything we can to get accuracy.
Yeah, and we'll see what they would do about the Spikes Frederick weekend series. Now, supposedly it's supposed to be better tomorrow.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, yep, that's the hope.
Yeah, it's supposed to be better tomorrow, but wow. Very quickly, Denver, Miami. When I listen to the coaches, and they're trying to push and get the best they can, what did Michael Malone complain about with his team after Game 2? Their effort.
Yep.
Okay. What did Eric Spoelstra complain about his team last night? The effort. Okay.
Butler, same thing.
Over here in the back. You only have a maximum of 4 more games to go.
Mm-hmm.
How can you not have the effort?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
They give you a big trophy when it's done.
Well, yeah. One that a lot of people have never held.
Right.
Who are in the Hall of Fame.
Right. Hey.
Yeah.
Effort? How could you not? Our effort was terrible. Your effort was. You're playing for the whole thing. Okay, this isn't a game in Sacramento in November. Our effort.
Yeah.
Your effort. It's one strange league, man.
It's sure is. Yeah, it sure is, and it's money talks apparently in a big way when it comes to the NBA. But game itself, I feel like we're bound. I'm bound to be very wrong at some point here because I think we were right on about this one too. He said Jokic tried to get his assist to get triple double.
Well, he goes. Let me tell you what the difference in that is.
Yeah.
Okay. Because to me, the whole thing is about.
Yeah.
He didn't get 10 assists in the other game because the guys didn't hit shots.
Yeah.
They didn't hit shots.
Right.
I'd pass it to you.
Yeah.
I can make the greatest pass in the world. If you miss the shot, there is no assist.
Mm-hmm.
So last night he gets 6 more assists. That's a minimum of 12 more points off his passes.
The other point we made was Jamal Murray had developed consistency. He has a triple double last night. So I think that's when the Nuggets are able to play like that. They're pretty darn close to unbeatable. I think that you have the best player in the game, and if Murray can consistently play like that, he's an all-star. And then you have guys that come off the bench that played yesterday. Christian Braun, it was unbelievable.
Christian Braun?
Yeah, Braun.
Christian Braun is a guy that won 3 state championships in Kansas.
Yeah.
Last year was a part of the national championship Kansas team that beat North Carolina.
Yep.
And now is in a position to help Denver win a championship.
Yeah.
He's played championship basketball his whole life.
Yeah, Christian Brown's played well. Bryce Brown's has played well. This team is definitely you're getting the role players to step in and play well. And when that happens, to me, I think this team is the best team in the league, without a doubt. When you look at what this team has been able to do consistently through the year, Jokic, again, is without a doubt the best player in the world right now. I think he has surpassed Giannis, I think, as the best player in the game at this moment. And now you have a guy like Murray, who people forget was hurt for a full season after the bubble. So that was, he lost a lot there. He was playing incredibly well prior to that, and now he's getting back to that level. You have that 1-2 punch, and you have guys in that starting lineup that play as well as you can play. Yep. You can get Michael Porter Jr. continuing to play the way he's played in the playoffs. This team's going to be real tough to beat for years to come. There's no doubt about it.
No doubt. I mean, they're playing really well. They just have more to turn to when they need it than Miami does. I mean, it's not like Adebayo has not played well, because Bam Adebayo has played really well. Jimmy Butler's still been like he's been a little bit like
he
this.
Definitely has, and that's been all series. That's really.
But then you look at the other guys.
Yep.
I mean, Caleb Martin, who was terrific against the Celtics, has not played well. You know, but he was terrific in most of the games against the Celtics. Has not played well against Denver. Duncan Robinson has. Lowry's been up and down, but a little better.
Yeah, he got hurt last night, too, at the end.
He got hurt at the end of the game. He did a split on the floor. There was no contact.
I think Adebayo overall has played pretty well.
He's played pretty well.
Yeah.
I think he's done the best he can.
Yep.
I think he's done the best he can, especially knowing that he's got to go against Jokic. What gets me about Jokic that you see, I already know he's a quality rebounder, a quality passer, around the basket. You look at, he can hit some threes, but it's his soft touch. How many shots does he shoot that he dance around the rim a little bit and fall? He just has a great touch around the basket, and that's some part of it that makes it special. He is just tremendous. Sorry to cut you off.
No, I cut you off. And that's he can literally take a double team and still get deep into the paint. That's I think what makes him so good. Shaquille O'Neal didn't do that at times.
Yeah.
When you look at that guy was 7'1", they changed defensive rules for him, and he wasn't able to get in deep enough like Jokic is when he faces a double team like he's faced. And what he's just able to do, it's unbelievable. And what he's been able to do, not only obviously in the finals, but in the last 3 years. I think people in Philadelphia were upset Joel Embiid was not MVP before this year. Now as you're watching these playoffs, you're finding out why. As the Nuggets have gotten deep in the playoffs, you're clearly finding out why. And individual awards, to me, from the outside looking in, exactly, I couldn't care less.
Hey,
you want the ring.
Now, do I care? Well, for example, when it's a Penn State player, only because, hey, look, I want them to get whatever just reward they can get. But I'm talking about the professional MVP stuff. I could care less. I don't care if Jokic was the MVP last year. I don't care if Embiid was the MVP this year. I think it's great for the fans.
It is.
And first of all, it's great for the player because they get a bonus.
They get a bonus. They get that trophy they can put in their case.
It's great for the fans.
Yep.
And if you notice, the fans are very much like, oh, yeah, he's our guy, the whole thing. And they have no idea how well Jokic has played this year. They don't watch him.
No,
they don't watch him. They see him twice a year.
See him a couple times a year if they're lucky. Yeah,
maybe.
And they don't see him against quality opponents a lot of times either. Right. So that's the other part of it. But now,
and when I mean see him twice a year is when they play Philadelphia.
Well, when they play Philly, sure, absolutely. And Jokic probably had one of his worst games of the year first time around when he played Philadelphia in Philly. So and that was part of the other. And then Embiid doesn't play game 2 when they play in Denver. So you have the argument Embiid had the better matchup head-to-head. You know what? Who cares? And that's exactly. So if you look at what this guy has been able to do consistently for the past more than 3 seasons, it's been unbelievable. What he's been able to do, his development has been incredible. And he's a guy that's, I'd say, borderline unguardable because he could shoot. You go back to that game against the Lakers in Game 3. Shot clock winding down. He fires a rainbow from 26 feet, all net.
Yep.
How many players in the league can throw that shot up and knock that down like that?
Second round pick.
Yeah.
Second round. We talk lottery all you want. He's second round
pick.
11th pick of the second round. All right, so James Franklin did talk with the media today, as did Chuck Losey and Andy Frank and Josh Nelson. I think the assistant coaches are talking now. And the as James said earlier, he said, look, he said the schedule thing for 24 and 25 is coming out today. He said it's above his pay grade. He is right. But when he's talking about this team, already between what Chuck Losey is saying, what James is saying, a guy like Dante Cephas has fit right in. That has been a fit. Now you got to see it work in the field, but Cephas he fits in great with the locker room. He already has friends on the team, because I think he and Daquan Hardy went to high school together. And it's been a great fit. Chuck Losey was talking about Trey Potts. Same thing. Fits right in, knows what he's supposed to do, how he is supposed to do it, conducts himself as a veteran. Dante Cephas conducts himself as a veteran. Now, they've added in a couple of other guys, Collins and Ford, Alonzo Ford. I think Ford has 3 years to play too. But James also took the time at the end today to discuss Devon Ellies. And as you know, I think the world of Devon Ellies. I really do. He's a terrific guy. But he has become, and you could see this in the spring. I went to the weightlifting session in the spring. How he's become a leader. And you can see in the spring practices, he's become a leader. And it's even more so where his performance is matching his leadership. Big. Akeem Beeman has put on necessary weight while maintaining his quickness. Beeman's bigger now. Makes a big difference. And they're developing a pretty good DT group there. And when it comes to guys being back, Theo Johnson's back, Tyler Warren's back, Tyler Elsden's back, Dominic DeLuca's back. I remember those guys all did not participate in the spring. They're all back and participating, which is really important. I mean, think about the spring. If you were Drew Aller and Bo Pribula, you're going through the spring against a really good defense, and you're doing it without Dante Cephas. You're doing it without Theo Johnson and without Tyler Warren. Now, that does give you a chance to develop other people. Khalil Dinkins steps up and takes advantage of it and performs well with the two tight ends out. You see Amari Evans step up, especially the last 10 days. And you saw it in the spring game. The last 10 days, Amari Evans stepped up, really helped himself. But they have other guys there that can play. Liam Clifford can play all three spots. And he has a really good concept of the offense. Malik Mega is another guy that's played. Mega, by the way, has changed his number. He'll wear 4. But Mega's another guy you look at. Malik McClain. A lot of people have had a lot of buzz about him when he got here. And McClain did well in the spring. I mean, he's still got work to do to be more consistent. And Caden Saunders has really thrown his heart and soul into how this should be done. Last year was a really great learning curve for him, and he understands it now, and that makes a big difference. Then you got Singleton and Allen, the offensive line guys. You look at the defensive front; they could be really good. By the way, Tony Rojas, Chuck Losey. Let's see, he came in at 195. When we did the Paterno Beaver Stadium run, I had a chance to talk to Tony before I got I helped get things started there. I said, "Where are you now?" He says, "Mr. Jones, I'm about 227." Chuck today said he's about 229. He said 229, 230, right? and he hasn't lost anything. Sometimes it'll take a while to I've got this new body, and how do I operate with the extra weight? And he's had no issue with it, none. And then Collins coming in from Mississippi State. He is. I actually had a chance to just talk briefly with him. He is thrilled to be here, and he'll have it. He'll have his opportunities, no question. But as James said, he says may have to eat a little bit more. He's right, but they'll take care of that. They'll take care of that. But it's good to get a little football out there today.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
A little football.
A lot of football news today.
A lot of football news out there.
I
today.
like it.
And under Flex Protect, I'll Flex Protect and keep you on board here.
There you go. Every 4 to 5 years, or is that like sooner than that?
Trying to think what gives me peace of mind.
2.5
hours.
Yeah, that's about right.
No, I think we'll keep you. You're a pretty good egg. I didn't give you your 49 good San Francisco seconds. I feel awful.
Oh, that's all right. That's great. We've had enough football news for the day, I'll tell you.
And you took up 10 minutes yesterday.
No, I was going to say, yeah, I think so. I think we could. We'll postpone it due to the air quality. How's that? I'll tell you.
Just our luck, we have California air.
Yeah, how about it? Anybody out there?
Summertime.
All kidding aside, be safe.
Yeah, be smart about this.
Be smart. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you know what? You know how in your car, for example, you can put it on internal on air conditioning.
Yep.
Right. Well, you can put it on internal and turn the temperature back. That's what I do. That way, it keeps the outside air from coming in.
Absolutely.
I did that in my car, and I've got to drive here about 2.5 hours. I've got that ahead of me to go to Scranton tonight. I mean, I don't understand why when they asked you to do this and you said no, and I had to replace you.
I figured the easiest thing to do would be to pass the buck.
They wanted star power up there, so they wanted you. Right? We want Jason Lord. Like, oh God! And he said no.
I have to honor Patches the dog tomorrow night at Bark in the Park.
The day you honor Patches the dog, which you have just whined, moaned, and complained about for years. WMC, whine, moan, and complain. You have complained about that precious little animal for decades.
He traumatized me for 20 years.
He traumatized you for 20 years. You had a paper route for 20 years?
No,
come on.
No, I think it was more like 4.
You make it seem like it was the longest 4 years of your life dealing with that dog. My goodness.
Well, I'll tell you that I should have to sue the video game paper boy, because throwing a newspaper at a dog does not keep him from chasing you. I tried that many times with him.
Did you ever fall off your bike throwing a paper?
No, I did not do that. We had our own specific route where you had to go out the road. That I stumbled on the bike a few times because it was a dirt road, it was a pain. That was about it, though. Other than that,
because there are ruts and things like that.
Right. Sure. Yeah. Other than that, a lot of times you park the bike and do 3-4 houses, ride it again. So, yeah. Fortunately, not.
Feel awful about the Pennsylvania Summer Special.
Absolutely.
Feel awful.
Absolutely.
It's the right decision.
It's the right decision, but
it's terrible. But it's awful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, back tomorrow. We'll have the reveal today.
Yes.
We'll talk about that tomorrow.